Hey everyone, it's Halloween, so we're going to be talking scary video games.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Graeme, it's so unprofessional. You're supposed to turn your phone off.
I get it, sorry. Hello?
Do you like scary video games?
Mum?
Guys, can we get on with this, please?
Graeme?
Oh.
Where's Graeme gone? Graeme?
Benny's not here now.
I'm scared.
Would you kindly join me on a trip to the city of Rapture? Bioshock was a game I put off playing for years after watching my friend play it when it first came out and going, nope. As Jack, dived into Andrew Ryan's Utopia, I felt thoroughly unnerved as I explored this broken city. Let's just say, don't book yourself in with Dr. Steinman for any cosmetic surgery anytime soon. Bloodstained walls are not the most hygienic.
She won't stay still!
The many splices that you bump into with your wrench like to jump at you out of the darkness and scream in your face, no, 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 no.
I just wanted some company!
They also paint a pretty accurate picture of what living in Rapture can do to you, and it's not very good. But my biggest fear as I wandered through this broken city, big daddies. You couldn't get to Little Sisters without getting through them. Their haunting sounds and slow, thundering footsteps strike fear into many players' hearts, especially mine. They look slow, but anger them, and these lumbering giants will mess you up. They can move pretty fast when they want to, and let's just say I learned that the hard way. Oh, and there is a jump scare or two, one of which scared the living daylights out of me. Yep, not ashamed to say that.
Condemned was definitely the black sheep of the Xbox 360 launch lineup, and by black sheep I mean a sheep soaked in blood with a leg hanging off, ready to chew your face to bits. It remains one of the most brutal, creepy and downright nasty video game experiences I've ever had, and I bloody loved it. Influenced by serial killer movies like Seven and Silence of the Lambs, Condemned sticks you in the first-person shoes of Ethan Thomas, an FBI crime scene investigator in a fictional, violence-riddled city. You need to hunt down a serial killer who's giving other serial killers a taste of their own grisly medicine. Combat is melee-focused and jaw-breaking. Smacking murderous nutters with lead pipes and fire axes is truly visceral, and the up-close fighting means you're always a missed swing away from death. Then the investigation of crime scenes using a set of tools introduces these really cool, tense, and pretty gross, quiet moments with really terrifying potential for jump scares. And seriously, that bit with the dead body in the locker? No. If it came out now, it would be all the rage for Let's Plays and YouTube jump scare merchants, so it was actually pretty ahead of its time, and you can see its influence in newer games like Slender and Outlast as well. But what really sets Condemned apart for me is the overwhelmingly dark, claustrophobic, and just manky atmosphere. It really drenches you in grimy horror, and it's so much the better for it.
One of my favourite scary games has to be Resident Evil. Now, although Resident Evil 2, I would say, is my favourite of the franchise, I have to go with the original because it was the first one that absolutely terrified me. I had never seen a video game like this before. And me and all my friends stayed up one night to try and play all the way through it. And we got so scared because it's that weird kind of mix of just like the tension. You know something's going to happen, but you don't know when it's going to happen. It's really, really scary. And then we got so scared to the point where we actually went to the toilet as a team later that night because we couldn't hack it. We were quite young, it was quite terrifying. I also loved the fact that it had these really amazing puzzles in it. So like you felt really clever and like really badass because you know you were like fighting zombies and then you were solving puzzles, and it was like the equivalent of like going into a maths exam without revision. It was terrifying.
One of the most frightening games I've ever played in my life is Alien Isolation. First time I played it, it was the middle of the night. I was by myself, headphones on full blast, hopped onto the survivor game mode, and by God, I have never been so scared in my life. Every single beep on the motion detector, every single noise, whether it was the sound of the alien crawling through the vent or the sound of its footsteps, it just made you question every single thing you did. The amount of times I hid in a locker to avoid the alien and the jump scares, don't get me started. That just made me scream over and over again. You'd just be walking along a corridor and then bang, the alien is right in your face, or you're nearly at the end of the vent and just get ripped out by the alien. I have to say what made the game even scarier is knowing that there is only one thing out there to get you. It's not like Resident Evil where there's hordes of zombies. You just know that there's this one alien and that eventually he's going to get you.
A wonderfully well-named and much-loved indie title, Don't Starve's objective for players is very clear. Don't starve. But I soon found out it's not your traditional survival game. You could be on a little wander only for a bunch of monsters to run out at you and ruin your day. The Reign of Giants DLC also added some especially weird ones that made you go, ah, what was that? And run. On one playthrough, Wilson slowly lost his mind until his sanity got so low that the screen went weird, I heard strange whispers and creepy shadow creatures started to appear. Another time I'd been using a little bit too much magic and recently jumped through a wormhole, so my sanity got so low that the shadow creatures became physical creatures and killed me. But my main fear? The dark. This also drains your sanity and makes you very vulnerable. I'd often find myself stuck in the middle of nowhere with just a torch after leaving the safety of my campfire on the hunt for new materials, only to hear noises in the darkness around me. No, I don't like it. Oh, and seriously don't let your light source run out. Trust me on that one. Oh, and on top of all that, if you die, it's permanent. So, lovely, stressful time for you there.
For a while, the scariest thing about Alan Wake was the length of time it was taken to develop, but when it did land on Xbox 360 in 2010, it felt like the 5-year wait was worth it. Alan's a horror writer, he's heavily informed by Stephen King, who's actually quoted at the start of the game, but he's suffering from a bad case of block. The story is purposefully oblique, but Alan's wife goes missing, and he seems to have written a book he doesn't remember. And it's coming to life, and worst of all, is pretty creepy stuff. So the locals are being taken over by a malevolent force called the Dark Presence, literally turning them into murderous shadows. Alan can defeat them with a combination of light and weapons, which creates the game's highlight for me. The combat mechanics are absolutely perfect, and the visual effects still look show-stopping 5 years on. Like when you pop a flare, it just looks incredible. Alan Wake also revels in smart references from horror movies and TV shows like The Shining, The Twilight Zone, Twin Peaks, and The Birds, and it even turned its hand to some dark humour, most memorably for me in the form of burnt-out metal band Old Gods of Asgard and the set piece on the makeshift stage at their farmhouse. All this means Alan Wake is one of my favourite games on Xbox 360, and if next year's Quantum Break is anywhere near as good, I'll be very happy indeed.
One of the scariest games I have ever played was Dead Space. And I think one of the things that made it utterly terrifying was it was the first time I've ever played a game on full surround sound, like 5.1. And weird aside, my dad has a bunker cinema, I guess because he's worried about being bored in a post-apocalyptic world or something. And I played it there, so I was underground in this bunker, listening to it on like a 5.1 speaker system, and you can like hear like all the whispers like they're and they're like all around you and on top of you, and it's creepy, and the subwoofer was really high, so it was absolutely terrifying. The other thing that was really, really scary about it was that the Foley was really kind of gross. So I remember once interviewing the guy, and they said they got like an old goat and they put like maggots in it, and then they punched it and then they recorded the sound, and that's why it sounds super disgusting every time you ever do anything. The other thing was, like, the first scene, you know, where you come in and the first time you see a necromorph and you're going through and you go into that lift, and then, like, the necromorph comes in the lift and you don't have a gun, like, for the first time ever in a game, you don't have a gun, you have nothing, and this thing is in the lift, like, coming at you, and you're like, what do I do? I have hands, these are useless to me, useless to me! And then you freak out, and it's fine, because it goes off, but for the whole rest of the game, every time you go in a lift, it's not a pleasant experience because you just assume it's going to happen again. I could talk about this all day. I need to stop, but it is terrifying. And if you haven't played it, you definitely should.
A game that is bound to make you freak out is Outlast. Never have I ever played a game that makes you question everything, from how the music builds you up into sheer panic to how you have to use the in-game infrared camera to see in the dark, which can actually run out if you run out of batteries. You will never be so happy to find a battery in a drawer like you will while playing Outlast. I personally love having jump scares in scary games, and Outlast has tons, from opening a door where there'll be a swinging dead body to being grabbed and pulled out of nowhere, which I'm not afraid to say made me jump away from my console and made me pull off my headset a few times saying, no, I'm done. Can't do this anymore. What I love is how you have no weapons, you don't fight anything other than shoving past a few people in scripted sequences, but it just helps build the atmosphere that's going to make you have nightmares.
And that's what I'm here for. To make you believe.
Well, there you go, folks. That is our list of our favourite, scariest games ever.
Graeme, weren't you dead or something?
Dead? I was on a conference call. Similar, right enough.
But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know what your scariest game is in the comments below.
Give us a thumbs up and do be sure to subscribe for more awesome videos from Xbox On.
And remember, please do have nightmares.
You're so weird. What are you doing?
Bye. Julia!